This is a 2020 Hyundai Elantra, fresh from a facelift for the 2019 model year, and while I bring that up right now, I'm going to get right into it. 2019 model year is when we were introduced to this new front fascia. Yes, the triangular headlights, triangular fog lights, and a few other triangles in the front end. And, well, although distinct or distinctive, I don't think it's going to age quite nicely. Or actually, it's going to age quickly. When the new model comes out in about 2 years, it's going to be immediately spotted as an older car. I bring that up because Koreans have a tendency, Hyundai especially, to revamp their cars and try a little too hard when it comes to some styling. But you see, they didn't do that mistake when they redesigned the rear end. I love how the taillights kind of stretch towards the middle on the rear tailgate. It looks really, really nice. Now, let's do the usual grade walk or trim walk or whatever the hell it's called. Oh, I don't know why Hyundai has such complicated trims. For my small brain, I need a couple of letters and that's it. Anyway, so the base price for 2020 Elantra Essential is $17,099, includes heated seats and a bunch of other things. Then you move on to the Preferred. $20,549, and for that price you get a heated steering wheel, blind spot monitoring, and a bunch of other stuff. Then comes the Luxury. $24,249, you get leather. And then this car. $27,549 for the ultimate Elantra. 8-inch screen, heated rear seats, all the active safety features, including adaptive cruise control. And a confession from me. This week, I'm also test driving a 2019 Mazda 3 GT sedan front-wheel drive, which happens to be an absolute direct competitor to this car. I also happen to own a 2018 Golf, so another competitor. See, I bring this up because Hyundais and Kias, at one point in time, not that long ago, were all about value. A few things have changed apparently at Mazda. Well, a lot of things have changed. But the value proposition isn't exactly what it once was. Now, I said $27,549. About $1,150 more will get you the Mazda 3 GT with the premium package. Anyway, I'll try and point out some differences as we get in. But first, let's do the usual tour. Stuck on my finger. There we go. All right. So this reveals 407 liters of trunk space, which is decent. The opening is quite wide. I do like that. However, yeah, the Elantra and the Mazda 3's trunk volume combined is still less than what my Golf Sport wagon can manage. But I digress. All right, so the back seat, roomy. And this is one thing that impresses with both the Mazda 3 and this car, is that there is tons of room. Love the greenhouse, quite large, lots of visibility, a lot of lights, immense amount of legroom. Actually, it's a little bit more than the 3. However, my feet fit better under the seat in the Mazda 3. Dashboard, fairly contemporary. Layout is quite nice. Plenty of elbow room, plenty of headroom. It's a good place to be. There are your rear heated seats. 2-mode, en plus. All right, so let's get to the front. And I'm going to try and point out a few things between this and the Mazda 3. First thing, I don't understand why, for this price, at this price point, with the amount of equipment in this car, why only the driver window is auto up down and the other ones are only auto down. That makes no sense to me. All right. Okay. So lovely. Oops. Yeah, sure. All right. So lovely, clear gauges. Pretty little screen with your speedo. This is your 8-inch screen, which is a step up from the base 7-inch screen. It's quite lovely. See, as you can tell, occasionally it's a little bit slow to react, and the car has been running for a while. So it's warm, the system, if that has anything to do with it. Layout, large buttons, very intuitive, great ergonomics. Heated seat button, your steering wheel, your drive mode, so I'll just touch on that. You'll see it in the middle, right at the bottom of your screen if I move it like that. Smart is the best mode. Normal is good. Sport has one big advantage. I'll try and mention that once I get behind the wheel driving. Smart, like I said, I like. So the Mazda 3 has a larger screen, right? They both have the heated steering wheel. There's that. And then there's what's under the hood of this car, which makes a big difference. And remember, that's only $1,150 difference between the two cars. Anyhow, I'm going to try and be a little bit more precise going forward. But let's take a quick look at the front end of this car again. I mean, it looks good, but I don't know what it'll be like in 2 years. And that's another element with the Korean cars. Well, let's take it for a spin. So to get right into it, what I was pointing at, the bonnet, is that there's only one engine available with the 2020 Elantra. That's a 2-liter Atkinson cycle 4-cylinder engine, which puts out 147 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque. So we're quite a ways off from the Mazda 3's 2.5-liter engine. The other thing, the significant difference for the 2020 model year is the presence of an IVT, Intelligent Variable Transmission. Yes, that is Kia and Hyundai speak for a CVT, and that tells you how bad a rap CVTs have. However, the thing is, the IVT is quite good. Its main principal goal is to be efficient. And as far as that's concerned, while on the quasi topic of the differences between the 3 and the Elantra, this is far more fuel efficient. Far more. I mean, I'm averaging about 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers in the Mazda 3, doing a lot of city driving, mind you. In this one, I'm averaging just over 7 liters per 100 kilometers. So that's your considerable difference. However, again, when you're in smart or normal drive modes, as I've showed you, there's still that rubbery initial throttle input response time or feel. But if you do put it in sport, that kind of negates or abolishes that. Now, if I stick to some of the differences between the two cars, now, this one does have a wireless charging pad, whereas the Mazda 3 doesn't. And, well, we've pretty much come full circle as far as comparison is. So what I'm trying to say is that if the Hyundai and the Kia products were once the value-packed cars, that's no longer exactly true, especially when it comes to the fully loaded models. Now, if you're willing to spend nearly $28,000, you'll get more for your money in the Mazda 3 GT than the Elantra Ultimate. If you are kind of spending that kind of money anyhow, you're probably going to be considering more like a well-equipped subcompact or a medium trim compact crossover with all-wheel drive, which is not available in the Elantra, but is as an option in the Mazda 3. If we come back around to the driving experience, the Elantra, at first, when you get into it, feels solid, sorted, almost as much as the Mazda 3, the initial impression. And that is one of the Kia and Hyundai's biggest advantages. They managed to front load, overcharge, overload that initial impression where you think you're getting something that is substantial and huge and solid. But the fact of the matter is, even today, these cars, well, like the front end designed on the Elantra, kind of age quicker than the average Japanese car. But while it is aging and you're driving, it is, generally speaking, pleasurable. The chassis is tuned more with comfort in mind, but you can have some fun. Steering has a little bit more vagueness on center than the Mazda 3, but response time or responsiveness still good. Brakes feel fine. And I think that's the best way to summarize the Elantra as a whole. It's fine, or the Elantra Ultimate, I should say, is fine, but it's not the Elantra you want to buy. Mazda 3, no matter which trim, if you're willing to spend the money, you're getting more or less the best option in the segment. This, you stick to the basic cars, sorry, between 17 and change, all the way up to about $22,000, $23,000. Then you're getting your money's worth. But closing in on 28K, this is not the car. Despite the equipment, it doesn't separate it enough from the competition anymore. Good car this is, but not the one I would pick in the segment.